Hello, welcome to the Artist Way. This is week 6/5. I didn't do my reflection video last week because I had so much life stuff going on, and I regret it now. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk about week 6 and not overwhelm myself too much. So this week was recovering a sense of abundance. And halfway through the workshop, I can't believe it. Okay, so let's get into the check-in questions. So, how many days this week did you do your morning pages? Have you used them yet to think about creative luxury for yourself? And how was the experience for you? So I did my morning pages, I think 6 out of the 7 days. So I did do pretty good. Or actually maybe it was 5 out of the 7. And one day I did the 1 page of them, but I did do at least 5 days of the full 3. And then, have you used them yet to think about creative luxury for yourself? So yes. The chapter talked about, okay, this was earlier in the week. So creative luxury, I did start this about a year ago when I started my whole creative awakening. I went out to upstate New York to go visit my family, and there's not much to do out there, but my mom had some I think she had crayons and some markers and stuff, and then some coloring books, and I was having a lot of fun coloring. And before that, when I was working full-time and stuff, I had tried to do crafts, but I wasn't really feeling inspired, and it was just more annoying. I was letting perfectionism get in my way. But when I got back from the trip, I decided to go to Michael's, and I bought myself a huge thing of crayons, because when I was a kid, I always wanted the huge 200 pack of them. So I bought the biggest Crayola set that there was, and then I bought a huge set of the super tip markers, because I love coloring with crayons and markers. I don't really like colored pencils. And then I bought a coloring book, and it kind of started, it started my creative awakening, and I started writing a little bit before that, but I feel like this is what brought me a sense of peace before I started school. So yeah, I really do, I that felt luxurious for me to spend money, to splurge at the time on something like Crayola crayons when I'm in my 20s. But yeah, okay, number 2 was, did you do your artist date this week? And I did. It wasn't as nice, and it wasn't as luxurious as I'd want it to be. I feel like I did kind of blaze through it. I was stressed because I was supposed to get my song out by the 1st, but I didn't. I literally did not do that. I was just really struggling with the vocals, and that's one thing that I was just I don't know, the mic I was using before, I guess I'll tell the story of how I even got some of my music equipment. But when I was working as an esthetician, I also was working at Orange Theory as a coach there. And one of the other coaches, she started up a podcast, and then I think she was too busy, or maybe it just wasn't her thing, but she offered to sell it to me for really cheap, and I spent $100 and something on it, and she gave me mics and mic stand and all kinds, and an audio interface. So it was a pretty good deal for what I got. And then I started up a podcast, and it was not my thing. I honestly was bored. It wasn't very fun. It honestly wasn't very fun. And I kept it, and so then when I started making music, I used the same exact mic, and I felt like my vocals just sounded so bad, and I thought it was me. I was oh my god, I'm literally crazy for wanting to do this. And so then I went to Guitar Center for my little artist date, and I've been spending so much time there in the last couple of weeks since I have started my whole music journey. I'm wearing pants, by the way. That was a little much, but I'll show the mic that I got. I had to get a new microphone, and I bought this the day before the song was supposed to come out, but I kept re-recording the vocals and they just wouldn't get any better. But this thing was like $100. I was kind of pissed off about it at first, but when I did use it, it made a huge difference. With my vocals, it's an Audio Technica, and AT2020. It's, oh my god, like, if you're making music and you don't have a good mic and you feel like your vocals suck, then it's probably the mic, and unfortunately that may actually really help with that. So I pushed out the date on my song until the 8th, 8/8, which seems like a luckier day to me. I had a lot of ego stuff come up with that. I felt really, like, unprofessional, and in reality, though, I want to make this fun, and I talked about how I wanted to not be as, like, a perfectionist, and I think that comes more from, like, you know, getting things done by a certain time, or, like, a certain level of productivity, rather than, like, me being happy with the craft itself. Okay, did you experience any synchronicity this week? I don't know. I didn't make any notes of that. I probably did. I feel like I always notice synchronicity, but nothing too significant. I have felt a bit disconnected this week from, like, source and, like, my spirituality, because I think I've been, like, distracted by a lot of personal stuff going on in my life, and I'm also moving, and I just have so much going on, but it's alright. And then, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? And, a big one is, yeah, I learned with the song day that, like, I need to have things, like, done before I announce them, because I go through waves of, like, energy and, inspiration, and, like, I don't like forcing myself to do things when I am not really feeling up to it. So, yeah, just being gentle with myself, and all of that. Okay, let's see here. Okay, yeah, I think that's, like, pretty much it. I am doing the exercise still where you're writing, where you keep the little notebook and you write down all the purchases you make. Yeah, I'm like staying up with that. Yeah, short reflection this week, but I am just, like, I've been out of touch with my spiritual side, but I have been trying to keep up with the morning pages and doing all the exercises so that I still have somewhat of a connection. But I guess another thing that I need to do along the road of my recovery is, like, make sure that I stay grounded, because I do get stressed very easily, and I think that I've grown a lot in that regard, because, like, even, like, a year ago, or a little over a year ago, before I got help with my mental health, I literally was, like, waking up with crippling anxiety every morning. Like, literally my heart rate would be at, like, 130 BPM, like, laying in my bed, just waking up. I was just so unwell, and I feel like I'm doing so much better now, just in general, like, looking at, like, the bigger picture. So when I do have, like, a bit of a rough week, I try not to, like, hold it like that, like, or make it that deep, you know, because I know that we all have our good and bad days. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this if you are here. Sorry for no week 5 reflection, but I promise you I will be here for the rest of the 12 weeks, halfway through. We love it. And, like, even I'm, like, halfway through my morning pages. I don't know if I've showed you guys, like, this one, but these are the pages, so you have to write 3 of these, and like, I literally feel like I'm, like, writing an entire essay every morning, but it's good for my brain, so we love that. But yeah, I will be moving this week. I also will be releasing the song at the end of this week. And yeah, well, I guess I will upload this video like way later, like probably in a couple weeks, because I have to do week 4 or probably next week. But yeah. Anyways, all right. Goodbye. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting the journey, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.